Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about how Natalie Portman should have never returned back to the MCU for Thor, Love and Thunder. So, Natalie Portman, she's a really good actress. The first thing I've ever saw her in were the Star Wars prequels. And then the MCU. I saw her on SNL and those rap videos were hilarious. And I've also seen her in Black Swan because I've always wanted to see what made her famous, you know what I'm saying? Other than all these fantasy, sci-fi, superhero type movies and stuff. And she is a really, really good actress and stuff. And the thing about her is that when she showed up in the MCU for the very first Thor movie, they changed the character of Jane Foster. Jane Foster has always been in medical. She was a nurse, a paramedic, stuff like that, whether it's the classic comics or the Ultimate comics. But for the MCU, they decided to change her up and make her into that of a scientist. She is very, very, very smart. So smart, I'm surprised she wasn't in the Avengers movie helping out. And so, they decided to change her character because, well, female love interests in superhero movies are always the damsel in distress. Whether it be Lois Lane or Mary Jane Watson, people was kind of getting tired of that, and so were the actresses and stuff. They wanted more than just kiss on the hero and be tied up and everything and have to be saved. We got enough of that in those older Superman movies, and we got really tired of it in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. Since then, they've been trying to change things up, trying to get the love interest more involved with the hero and the final battles and stuff like that. Anyways, when the MCU rolled around, they decided not to make her a paramedic, but to make her that of a scientist. And so her character, like I said before, was really, really, really smart and everything. It was something for everybody to look up to, not just little girls. And, she's the type of person who will hold her ground and, doesn't really care, who it is she slaps. She'll slap Thor. She'll slap Loki. She don't care. When she's pissed off, she will let you know and everything. And that's how she was really, in the first movie. She was headstrong. She was determined. She was going to help Thor out no matter what. Then we get into the second movie, and that's where things get a little dicey. Natalie Portman was fed up. She wanted to leave the MCU, but could not because she was under contract. Why did she want to leave during the second Thor movie? Because of the simple fact that Patty Jenkins, the one responsible for Wonder Woman movies, was supposed to direct the movie and wanted to turn it into a love romance type movie. A love action romance type thing. The studios at B said, nope, we don't want no romance movie. So Patty Jenkins was gone, and in came a different director. This pissed off Natalie Portman, allegedly, because she wanted a female director, and she wanted Patty Jenkins. So, because she could not get out her contract then, she was able to get out her contract later. By the second movie, she's mad at Thor because after the events of the Avengers, he never came to see her. So when he finally did see her, she slapped him dead in the face. She also slapped Loki and stuff like that because, Loki's evil and tried to kill her and stuff like that. Anyway, in the second movie, she is still a scientist, but now she is more of a plot device and more of a damsel in distress, somewhat downgrading her character from before. She is infected with the ether. The ether is part of one of the Infinity Stones. And so the bad guy wants to get the ether back out of her no matter what. And it's taking over her body, turning her somewhat evil and stuff like that. While there, we get to see a nice little thing between her and another scientist lady from Asgard talking about how human science and Asgardian magic science type stuff is really all the same stuff. So we get to see more of her intelligence and stuff like that. I kind of forget what happens to her at the end of the movie, because basically after that, it's just Thor fighting the bad guy and bouncing around with portal devices and stuff like that. But after that, him and her decided they was going to be together. And, you know, for the most part, she had a actually a great run in the MCU. It was something to be proud of, you know, but she still wanted to leave. So she was gone. And so when the Infinity movies came around, her character was in the movie, but it wasn't really her. It was I can't talk. Archive footage, and it was like dub dialogue and like stand-ins and stuff like that, because she did not want to appear. I assumed she was in the movie, but she wasn't. Basically what it was is that they went back to a point in time during the second Thor movie when her character was there in Asgard to extract the ether out of her at a much earlier date. So with stand-ins and archive footage and dubbing and stuff like that, they was able to make it happen. And so Natalie Portman was just gone. And then all of a sudden, she decided to come back. And I believe it was one of the biggest mistakes ever. First things first. If you were so adamant about not wanting to return because of whatever director isn't going to be there, and you feel close with this director for whatever reason, then I say more power to you. Some people gave her crap for it, but nobody gave Michael Keaton crap when he didn't return for the Batman movies, because, you know, Tim Burton didn't return because Tim Burton was fired and stuff. And we saw what happened when Michael came back for to play Batman again. It was in the Flash movie. I still have not seen that yet. I'm about to. But I've seen clips, and that Batman does not feel the same whatsoever. That Batman feels comedic and stupid, and the Flash movie looks stupid, and yeah. So we see what happens when they don't come back for that director, and they come back for a different director, and things feel a little weird. What's his name? Christian Bale's the same exact way. He didn't want to return for no more Batman movies if Christopher Nolan was not returning. And, you know, we saw what happened with that Batman. That Batman ended up being a murderer and everything. So I get why they don't want to come back and stuff. So I say, if she didn't want to come back for Patty, she should have stayed gone. But she came back. Also, if you're going to be that pissy about it, just don't even be a part of the movie to begin with. Just like stay away. But she returned. And well, when she returned back for one of the, well, actually the worst Thor movie ever. Thor Love and Thunder was a disaster movie. I hate that movie. I can't stand that movie. It's weird how Heimdall's son is disrespecting Thor when, you know, Thor wanted to save them, and he's all like, so you're not actually here? And he's like, well, no. And he's like, just go away, Thor. I'm just like, why? Why you gotta talk to him like that for? Like, it's supposed to be funny, but it's just disrespectful and stupid. And it downgraded everybody's character. Also, somebody who should never return was Sif. I don't know why the actress who plays Sif stayed gone for so long. I have no idea why. I know she has back problems or something like that, and she can't do action no more. But they should have just recast or something. So when she returned, it was for a dumb comedic moment. It made her look stupid, and she should never return to either. But back to Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman came back to be the almighty Thor, the female version of Thor. Not Thor girl, but the mighty Thor. And when Jane Foster got cancer, took up the hammer and became the mighty Thor in the comics. They did this storyline here. Only problem is it was handled with a director who acts like a man-child. Now, I'm not going to trash Taika Waititi because so many people have done it before. I've done it before. And I just don't want to like cause more of that man's mental whatever. And so like, and now I think they said he wanted to redeem himself with a fifth movie. Nah, dude, it's too late. Chris wants to redeem himself with a fifth movie. Nah, dude, it's too late. Thor doesn't need 5, 6, 7, and 8 movies, all right? When you saw how the comedic stuff worked in the third movie and how it worked well in those Avengers movies, you wanted to be comedic. When that failed, now you want to be serious again. It's over. Anyway, Natalie, they did the cancer storyline. And how did they play it? With humor. And people's all like, why? Why would you do that? And so, like, it's weird how her character is in this movie. She does not feel like the same person she used to be. She feels totally downgraded. And not only that, but she does have elements of Mary Sue in her. Because of the simple fact she is dying of cancer. It's bad. And how do we see her handle this? By making jokes and everything. Who Kat Denning plays? Is it not Dorothy and Dahlia? Well, I don't know her name, but whoever Kat Denning plays, when her character is serious and Jane is being the jokey one, then you know you have a problem with the writers and the director. And so then she's like, she sees this thing about Asgard and all this other crap. So she thought, okay, maybe magic can heal her and stuff. And then it's weird because it's like she sees Thor's broken hammer. It starts to rattle a little bit, and we don't really know what happens until Thor shows up halfway after the end of the first act and everything. And then when he goes to fight the bad guys, we see Jane dressed as Thor with muscles now and blonde hair, and she is the mighty Thor. And it's just kind of like, oh, okay, the hammer chose her. But why? Why is she worthy of the hammer? Well, it's not the same reason as the comics. It's basically because Thor told his hammer to always protect Jane before they broke up. And so the hammer didn't do a pretty good job because after, she got cancer, it didn't come to her, but it called out to her. And in a way, it reassembled itself and, she's now healed and everything. But the problem is how they treated her character. Her character is still jokey. Her character is happy and smiley. Now, I get it because she's alive and she's happy. But she's making stupid, dumb jokes that she would never have made in the past. And not only that, but how in the world does she know how to use the power of Thor? She is now having this power for the very first time. And she is a master of it. She can use it to fly. She can use the hammer as projectile weapons because it's broken. She knows how to use the lightning and the thunder. And it's like, how? She has never been trained. She is not a fighter. How is she able to whoop this much behind? The powers don't give you that ability. You must have that ability in order to do it. And so it makes her come off as very much a Mary Sue. Then they kept her smarts because she figured out, oh, it's a trap and they need the Bifrost, axe, hammer and everything. So she gets rid of it and she's able to figure that out within seconds of just looking at this little map thingy and everything. And then it's just like, she's too perfect with no flaws other than the cancer that's eating away at her. And that's not even really a factor for the most part. But then again, it is. And she's not even really trying to handle her whole cancer diagnosis. They completely gloss around that just to make jokes and everything. And it's so disrespectful to people who have cancer and to the actual comic that's supposed to be phenomenal and everything. Then it turns out the more she uses the hammer and the powers, it's eating away at her faster than the cancer. And it's just speeding up her cancer. So, like a good hero, she wants to make that sacrifice and do for the greater good, which is very, very, very noble. And it is kind of like how her character is in the past. So that's cool and everything. But it's kind of like, you got Thor here. And he's going to take care of everything. You got Valkyrie who's going to help him out. And so it's kind of like, why not just do like Thor said and just, chill with the hammer and let it just heal you or whatever, and don't try to use its power to kill you. But she can't do that. And of course, what happens? She ends up dying. And she goes to Valhalla and all this other stuff. And I'm just kind of like, dude, you could have at least kept her alive and made her the new Thor if the old Thor is supposedly has some kind of like disease and can't really make movies no more. And I would have been more happy if she just would have kept the power, but I would have been even more happy if she would have earned that power. She never earned, my camera died, so she never earned that power. And the thing is like, it's hard for me now to respect her character because she is completely different than what she used to be. She is still smart, but she doesn't act like she's smart. She's constantly making jokes. She didn't even know what that portable radio thing was and thought it was some type of bomb. And it's just like, dude, don't you like go on the internet? Don't you watch TV? Don't you see people like have those things and stuff? And it's kind of like, what happened to your intelligence? And not only that, but it really makes her look like a Mary Sue when she's super smart. Now she's given this ultimate power and she knows how to use it very, very, very well. And you know, people are just going to complain about that. So why write your character like that? This movie should have been about like her like, you know, trying to overcome her cancer, trying to be like, you know, worthy of the hammer, getting that hammer and trying to best the bad guy and stuff like that. She should have went out like a real true hero, like they've written so many of the male characters in the past. But when it comes to the female characters, they're all like, just make them perfect and that's it. And it's just like, no, because the male characters didn't start off as perfect and stuff. This could have been a really good opportunity for them to give her like a flaw, but her flaw is the cancer, but is you know what I'm saying? And what's worse is that Tyga was such a man-child in handling this storyline. And it's just so annoying and everything. Both her and Sif are like nothing like they. But then again, Sif was always a weird character in the Thor movie too. She was like, they kind of treated her and the Warriors 3 like, you know, sidekick, bumbling, barbarian type people and stuff, kind of like how they are in Norse mythology. But that Sif was never the Sif from the Hulk versus Thor movie and stuff. That animated movie did her a million times better. And Sif was made to look like a joke in the first movie. Sif was made to look jealous of Jane in the second. And now she was made to look like an idiot in this fourth Thor movie. And I hate when they do this to, like, you know, characters, especially like female characters and stuff. It would have been nice to hear her mope and complain about her cancer. It would have been even better to hear her mope and complain about the relationship with her and Thor. It would have been nice to hear her mope and complain about how this hammer is giving her everything she wanted and she don't care, it's gonna take her life. Maybe she did do that third part, I'm not really sure. And back to their relationship, we find out why they broke up. They just grew apart. It wasn't really nothing big or spectacular or nothing, it's just they grew apart. And nobody wants a realistic relationship in a movie. They want something big and dramatic and everything, because she was really pissed at him in Thor 2 to where she slapped a god in the face, not one, but two. And, you know, because she's pissed at Loki for always trying to destroy the world and everything. But she's even more pissed at Thor because he did not come back for her. He's been on Earth for so long and never tried to like rekindle with her and stuff. And that really pissed her off. And now it's just like they had the goofiest loving relationship ever off screen. And we get to see that in a montage, but then we get to see them break up in a montage. And it's just because they grew apart and everything. And it's just kind of like, you know, she deserves so much more. And I really feel for Natalie Portman, because it's kind of like, I don't know why she came back. Like, I really don't. Like, maybe she came back because she's all like, you know, oh, maybe they offer me a lot of money. Or maybe they're going to make me a superhero. Or maybe I owe it to the fans because I left. Or, heck, maybe Hollywood's just not banging down her door no more. I mean, that's kind of what happens after a couple of years of being in the industry. And she's been famous since she was a teenager and everything. And, you know, once you leave the MCU or join the MCU or whatever, your career is not always the same. If you can't get those big parts, because a lot of these people got major parts before they was in the MCU. Some did, some didn't. And some became mega houses famous when they joined the MCU. And then when they left, their careers, just the projects they're in aren't doing so well. And so, like, it's that MCU curse and everything. But I really truly feel like she should have never came back and stick to her convictions and everything, because it just didn't feel the same when she came back. She felt and looked like a completely different character, and it was just, I lost so much respect from that character I liked from like the first two movies and stuff.
Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.